Thank you, Gerard. I like it when miserable people. It's such a shame we haven't got the old bearded man. Okay, folks. We'll. I don't mind you eating while we talk. It's a little bit like a cabaret in a restaurant then. Yeah? You're all having your supper and I'm doing the jokes. Yeah? We suddenly got a nasty noise from somewhere. Oh, it's the coffee machine. Sergey, we could ask Sylvia, no coffee making during briefing, thanks. So you need to get here before. And pick up your, I think that means pick up your trackers before you leave. Oh, thank you, Mikhail. Okay, it's very nice, Sylvia, thank you very much. The restaurant has provided you with breakfast, but I don't think you should expect it every day. I think it's a special today. They do very nice food here in the evenings and at lunchtime. It's a great facility on the airfield, and we thank them for providing this for us today. I want to go through the briefing. It's not too long, and then I want to have a little talk about something else. It's the first race day of our World Sailplane Grand Prix final. We had a very successful practice day yesterday with lots of mistakes. Now everybody knows how long the start line is, everybody knows how long the finish line is, yeah? And it's perfect. It's exactly why we have an official practice day, so we can sort these things out. We made some mistakes yesterday, and we learned from that, and we'll fix that today, I hope. And Sergi and I have had a discussion about some of the things and the way it's working, and we will change a few things today and tomorrow. Today, it's Sunday, and it will become very busy on the airfield. One of the reasons that we wanted to get ourselves on the runway is because this is going to become quite busy with aircraft, club gliders, and all that sort of thing. So just take care about your personal possessions as well. You know, lock your car or put it away. There's a lot of people about today. From tomorrow, we shall be the only people here, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. So just to remind you a few things, I'm not sure we need to go spend any time on this. Finish line always 1 kilometer and the start line's always 5 kilometers. The grid, we've decided this morning that we will grid directly onto the runway, that we won't park at the side. So tomorrow when you come out, we put the gliders directly on the runway, but we space them out so there's enough room to get everybody in, and then before launching we just push everybody back. Yeah? So we don't need to park at the side of the runway. The grid will be open at 9:30, but the closure time will depend upon what we're doing in the weather. And we will change briefing time according to the weather as well, because the weather's changing quite a bit. And it will help us to have a later briefing if we have difficult weather and we need more time to look at it. But equally, it may be necessary to have an early briefing. So every day we will announce the briefing time on WhatsApp, yeah, or you can check at the office. But it will not be before 9:30, yeah, but it may be 11:30 or 11 o'clock or something like that. And we'll grid accordingly. The rules for the altitude, we went over that yesterday. I think everybody understands that. And we'll just go on to the grid. Slide should have gone. And so when you tow out from the way station, the letter markers will be alongside the runway, and you put your glider alongside those so that we just compress the grid when the time comes. So let's look at the weather situation. midday today. Midday today, it's gone all funny. Yeah, what's happened to Spain? Yeah, yeah. This is Europe after Brexit. Yeah, but here we are in the Pyrenees. The reason for showing you the two is we've got a low pressure area forming right now during today and tomorrow. We have forming in this area of Spain a low pressure area. We have a collar low pressure over the Pyrenees area, and we can expect to see the pressure dropping during the day. Not quickly, but dropping enough. We know that what that means here is overdevelopment. And it means that we go from a nice cumulus situation to a completely overcast situation very, very quickly indeed when we get this situation. And you can see the SkySight forecast for overdevelopment at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I think this is 3:30 this afternoon. And we can see that all of the massif here is forecast to be overdeveloped during the afternoon. It's good soaring conditions before then, and we have a good opportunity for a good task, a good window. But it does mean that we will probably need to finish early to be sure that we can get the task in, which means we need to launch early. Launching early here is always a little bit tricky, but we'll see what we can do. The thermals here at 1400 local time are showing that we've got 3,000 meters on the top of the mountains again and 2,600 or so along the smaller mountains. We should start with quite a good situation. Cloud base probably not as high as yesterday, a little bit lower, and there's a good chance the cloud base will come down during the day and not go up. There's a good chance that from 2 o'clock on we don't see the cloud base going up, but we actually see it coming down a little bit. And so we have to just take a little bit of care about the start height. We set the start height at 2,400, and I'm pretty confident that that should be okay. Task sheets, you've got the task sheets. There's two tasks. There's task A, which is the task we expect to fly. It's a similar task to yesterday. We go to the same turning point to the east, and then we're going to go to Ulusa on the west side. This is Soloria here and the Andorra Valley, and then south to Beaumont. The 3 turning points are all 2 kilometer radius. I do that because they're high, but also it's consistent. We don't want to have different radius for every turning point, so we keep it at 2 kilometers. Except that the last turning point, Font Solar, is also the control point. It's 500 meters. We do not need to use Prix control point if we use that. So you don't want an extra point. It's not necessary. So the rule about minimum height is from the turning point back to the finish line. So not below 1,300 meters from there to here. I can't see any reason why you would want to do that, but that's the rule. Is everybody clear about that? And the ground is in the way for a lot of the time. The task B is a little longer. Task B is therefore, as if it looks like it's not going to overdevelop so quickly, and it looks like the weather's going to be better, and we're not pushed in the window finishing early, then we have a longer task. And the only difference between task A and task B is that the turning point to the west is moved to the west side of the Salt Valley, and it makes it 250 kilometers. But we've kept the turning point radius the same, 2 kilometers. Good. We anticipate launching at 12:30, so you'll need to be on the airfield to put the gliders on the grid at 12:15 at the latest. So we would like to start lining the grid up at 12:15. If you're there before, we might start sooner, because it takes a little time. Any questions about the task of the day? Yeah, could you hear the start time calls yesterday okay? There were... Sebastian, you never seem to get the calls. Everybody else got them okay? You got it? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Did you get none of it, Tila? Okay. Did you get Lucas? Okay. We'll have to see surgery. We probably need to find a relay system. We'll fix it up. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to borrow Thomas's erection and use that today. Is that okay? Fine, that's good, thanks. Yeah, I know. We've tried to do something about that. There won't be any chat during the week, but I've asked Sergi to talk to the club pilots not to. Can we not get the club pilots to fly on a different frequency for if they want to talk to each other? Because there's a lot of chat on the frequency, which makes it difficult for the start time. If we ask any club pilots who are flying today, could they use another frequency? Or even better, not talk? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I know the difficulty with that. Okay, so that's the formal part of this over. I want to tell you a bit of a story, because there's something that's really important to all of us, and that is at the end of this competition, we're all here and we'll all go home. And this is really, really important. And I have a message, but to give you the message, I have to give you some background. There's a history to this, so please be patient. I shall try to fill in the blanks to make sure that you understand the message. I started gliding when I was 16, when I was at school, 1964. And by the time I was 23 years old, I was already CFI of a club, and I became professional glider pilot. I've earned my living as a glider pilot since I was 23 years old. It's a long time now. And even in those early years, when I was flying in clubs in UK, there were 3 people who were killed in flying who were friends of mine, way back in wooden gliders. And it made me think quite a lot about it. And I thought, that's not so good. Over the next few years, I started flying competitions, world championships, and we started the European Soaring Club, and we were flying a lot. And slowly, I got the feeling that something was happening, something was wrong. And at one time, almost every year, somebody was being killed. There were some good friends, Rex Pilcher, Chateauroux, World Championships, Helmut Reitman, Helmut and Annetta became good friends of ours. And Tilo's dad was a great shock to all of us. And what was puzzling about this is these are good guys. These are really good pilots. These are guys who are better than me. And I think to myself, well, hang on a minute. If these guys can get killed, if what's happening out there is so dangerous, what am I going to do about this? Where do I fit into this? How am I going to survive? A few years later, when I started going to IGC meetings, I had a conversation with Bruno Gantenbrink. And we were chatting about this, and we were chatting about things like tasks and stuff, and he said the year before, he had made a list of all the people who he knew and were acquaintances who'd been killed in gliding or in flying, but particularly in gliding. And it shocked him when he did this. So I thought, I'll try that. And when I got to 26, I thought, Christ, this is really dangerous. This is really, really dangerous. What's happening here? I can't think of any other sport in which so many people could be killed. It's offshore sailing, skiing, maybe mountain climbing on a percentage basis. So we are in a situation where this is happening, and it's still happening. But what surprises me, and what I don't understand, is it's not a dangerous sport. There's nothing dangerous about what we do. The gliders don't break up. They're really strong. When you fly them, they do the right thing. There's nothing dangerous about what we do. So why do we have so many accidents here? Why do so many people get killed? And you come to the conclusion that maybe there isn't any real danger in the sport, providing that we keep our distance from that danger, providing that we maintain a margin between where we feel safe and where we are safe, and where we're not safe. And you think back and you think, well, what was Klaus doing? Yeah? What was Helmut doing? In Helmut's case, it probably wasn't his fault. And what were all these other guys doing? And you think, what do I do? Do I maintain that margin? Can I be sure that I stay on the safe side of the line and I don't go on to the other side of that line? Because it is inherently a safe sport, but we keep drifting across the line into the area where it becomes not so safe. You know, when you're flying a little bit too slow on the mountain and it's turbulent, this time when you put the stick forward, it doesn't accelerate. Yeah? Now it's not safe. Yeah? Now you're not in control. So you think about this. I need to find a way. I need to have a strategy to maintain control. I need to be in control of the situation. When I'm thermaling with other gliders, I need to know what my margin is. And I can tell you, not many people enjoy thermaling with me because I tend to fly too close, because that's maybe my margin. And over those years, I pretty much came to the conclusion that the only way I can do this is to make sure that every single day that I fly is I say that this will not be the day. Today is not the day when I erode that margin. Today is not the day when I get to the point where I'm at risk and I'm at danger. Today is not that day that I'm going to die in my glider. And I say that to myself every single time I take off. Two-seater, single-seater, competition, not competition. I remind myself that there's a margin here. I want to stay on the safe side. And I try to maintain that all the time. And I don't know how you do it. You're all very good pilots, you're all experienced pilots. We got a real shock in New Zealand with Herbert. Herbert's death in the Grand Prix final in New Zealand was a shock to me. It's the first time in any competition I'd run we'd ever had a serious accident. And it's really shocking when it happens and you're the guy in the seat. Thomas, well, it blew us out of the water. With Thomas, it was a very difficult thing to cope with. We're still only just getting over Thomas's death in the last Grand Prix. I can't do that again. Yeah, I can't do that again. And it's you guys who can help out. Only you guys can fly with that margin. It's your decision, not mine. So you have to maintain the margin. And there's nothing in this competition that's more valuable than you and your life and your family. Nothing in this competition is more valuable. So any time when you find that you're flying near the edge, you come back. You don't go over that edge. You don't erode that margin. And you make your own strategy. You decide for yourself how you do this. I always say to myself, today I'm going to be careful. Yeah, today I'm not going to go over the margin. It doesn't mean to say I'm not going to have fun. It doesn't mean to say I'm not going to be competitive. But every time I see the opportunity to erode the margin, the opportunity to take a little risk, I pull back. Yeah. And you have to do that if you're going to survive. So take the message. Take it with you every day. Find your own strategy. Think about it yourself. Think about the fact that this is not a dangerous sport. It's only the pilots that make it dangerous. Yeah? And you have control over that. Nobody else. Nobody else can do this, only you. So, sorry about to be so somber, but it's really important. We can't live through another last day in Vitacura. So, have a nice flight today, guys. And don't forget, today, it's not the day. Yeah? Today you're going to have fun. And we're going to have a great race. So let's see you on the field. Thanks.